Hey guys, I'm just waiting a minute, just posting in the Facebook group, and then gonna start. There's 3 already in here. Just messing with the lighting for a second too, quickly. Camera good? Yeah, it looks good. Okay, that's posted. God, let me post my Facebook page as well. Forgot about that. I don't think you can really post a. Oh, I guess you can. Does Instagram let you post links? Okay, Facebook page up. I think it is. All right, Facebook page up. All right. Okay. I'm not going to stay on too long today, probably, guys, but I just wanted to kind of at least get it in, and keep trying to live daily here. So yeah, health sides from D-ball. Depends on where you're going with that, because all steroids will have generally similar side effects, in the sense of effects, example, on your heart, or which is via increased calcium uptake and extracellular calcium. So I believe, because you're asking specifically for D-ball, you're asking specifically the D-ball sides that that are different from other steroids. So the cosmetic side, as example, gyno is almost very non-existent. It creates a lot less estrogen than testosterone, although a stronger estrogen. But when you see people complain of gyno stuff from D-ball, it is usually people who are adding D-ball to the test cycle already. But the fact that you see all the old pros, you know, they would blast the hell of the D-ball upwards, 7,000 milligrams a day, and for years on end, and D-ball was almost never present. And then same with my clients and my followers and my groups and stuff. Guys who will get gynecomastia off 100 milligrams of testosterone, they won't get any sides off D-ball, even upwards, you know, 200, 300 milligrams. So gynecomastia is extremely rare and almost out of the question. Hair loss also extremely rare and almost out of the question. The same as why the 70s pros didn't have hair loss, and most. And my clients and followers who get hair loss off everything, they never get hair loss off D-ball. So the typical cosmetic sides compared to other steroids, there really almost is none from D-ball. Some more anecdotal experience like side effects though is that it can affect some people's sleep. It can be semi-common, and some people, though more rare, can get a lower libido, though generally most find a better libido. Looking beautiful today, great thing to see before I hit my sack. What? I'm going to keep the stream going, but I'll probably fall asleep. Okay, sleep. Yeah, I appreciate it. Hello, Ripped Ruffy. Did you get the forum pic that I sent the other night? It's Gunner, I can't pronounce the last name, and Casey Vader. I did. I think I was about to fall asleep then, and I just clicked on it, like glanced at it for a second. What's up, homie? Just doing a quick live. I probably won't stay on too long, just because it started very late. It's 12 a.m. here. I should have started earlier. Yeah, I waited all day around because I ordered a new camera, and that was supposed to come today, and I waited freaking all day today. It was actually supposed to come yesterday as well. Waited all day, wasted a whole day. Yeah, very excited about that. See how that looks for the stream, the new camera. And then I have a lot of work to do, reply to some emails after this too. So that's why I'm not probably going to be on too long, and I wanted to make a forum post or two, just to update, you know, some more stuff on there for people. Pros and cons of DHB. Never tried it. With most of DHT based drugs, DHT derivatives, whatever you want to call them, there hasn't been a single one where I haven't noticed that didn't all have similar side effects and similar effects almost really. So even if it's primo, which is rated as hair safe and so on, it's going to be it's going to be bad on the hair if you're prone to hair loss. It's a great hardener. With the DHTs, I find there's not a great different effect and like, you know, anecdotal wise, like they almost all seem to cause a similar level of hardness, a similar boost in strength, a similar boost in aggression. Yeah, honestly, I would say it's gonna be similar to running Masteron and Primo and stuff like that. Again, this is from, you know, more for from client experience and so on, because, you know, there's no study comparing, oh, what are the effects of Mass versus Primo or versus DHB, right? It's all just based off what, you know, we know from adding it into cycles and, you know, comparisons. I apologize if you've already covered it, but what is your take on Minoxidil? No, go ahead, ask all the questions. That's what this is for. Minoxidil, absolutely hate it myself. One of its main, it has multiple effects, but one of its main effects is from circulation. That's why a lot of other drugs can't compare to it, but you can get the same benefits via other methods. I don't like it. You do a Google search on Minoxidil facial aging, circles under eyes and stuff like that. You notice a rampant amount of posting, people complaining that it's aged their face. They feel like they're 10 years older because it breaks down collagen, right? So I absolutely don't like it. Too many nasty side effects. I'd much rather more safer option, increasing circulation, such as relieving the tension in your scalp, because that is the main cause of male pattern baldness, right? Because male pattern baldness is a very specific pattern that's due to tension on the scalp being pulled at. So relieving that tension, massage and things like peppermint oil and rosemary oil, other circulation aids as well. So yeah, absolutely do not like it. How long should one wait to cut after a 6-week D-ball only cycle with glowing? As soon as you want. I'm a very big believer in more slow cuts. I believe when people cut too strong and too fast, they end up losing too much muscle. You can cut right away. You're not going to lose muscle. Muscle doesn't disappear like people think it does. When people run high water retention drugs like testosterone, they you know, they lose like 10 pounds of water weight, however much water weight they put on, and they think they're losing muscle. If you're losing muscle that quickly, your kidneys would fail. So cut slow. And you can cut right after. What I normally do when people are running 6-week bulks back and forth, run your 6-week cycle in bulk, and then during your off period, we'll normally start like a slow cut leading up into your next cycle. That way it keeps you lean in between the bulks, or extra lean. Couple requirements for bodybuilders. So nobody knows, and nobody knows what bodybuilders require. There was a study that suggested that our RDA is too low, and it could be upwards 8 milligrams a day. So, you know, depending on the person and situation, right? Assuming, you know, their zinc is good, I like the copper a fair bit up there. Absolutely. I started taking 150 milligrams of Test E and upped it to 200 milligrams last week, but I don't feel any different. My test after taking 150 milligrams a week, IM, was 1028 ng. I thought I would really feel a lot different. So twofold there. Everybody has different androgen receptor sensitivity. You know, there's men with a severe form of androgen receptor insensitivity, and they do not mature properly. They do not see any effects from normal dose of testosterone, and they need mega doses. So your receptor sensitivity could be shit. And it also depends on what you're looking to see. If you haven't changed your diet and so on, you know, you're going to gain some water weight and stuff from test, a little bit of strength, a little bit of muscle changes. But trust me, there's people out there who are taking 500 milligrams of test, 1,000 milligrams, and see shit all effects, zero gains because they're not eating adequately to see changes. As for changes on other areas like libido and stuff like that, you know, that's all individual. I take a TRT dose of test and I lose my libido. I feel worse. I'm very estrogen prone. So it's a very individual question, answer. So I would say one, add carnitine. This will increase your androgen receptor sensitivity. It's something that I've used on so many people who are on TRT doses. And they added carnitine and they felt like they're on a cycle. It increases your androgen receptor expression. I would do that. And then, you know, if you're looking for cosmetic effects, make sure you made a change in your diet and or, you know, your training properly. What PCT are you doing after ending your cycle? No PCT. I didn't start a PCT. Just multiple reasons. One, the first few weeks I was hoping I was going to be able to kind of finish it, but I was a little bit scared of my heart. And then now I'm at the point where I still don't want to mess with anything with my heart. Didn't know what was going on. And now I'm at the point where I can kind of restart my cycle again anyway. So there's kind of really no point. I'm like 5 weeks off probably technically since I stopped about the 3rd week. So now I'm probably going to just restart it any day now and get back into that. So yeah. Do you think eating high carb and high fat will raise cholesterol too much? I saw, it was going too fast, sorry guys. I saw that Leo had some concerns about this, high carb and high fat. So it depends on where you're going with this. So the newer studies are showing that people with the highest levels of LDL cholesterol actually live the longest and less all-cause mortality. On top of this, we see that statins don't really show much of an improvement on longevity with heart effects. And there's actually a specific gene defect in some people where I forget what the gene defect is. Yeah, I can't remember. I'm not even going to try and say it. But you know, with their high HDL, actually had a higher mortality rate. So you can't put much thought into this whole cholesterol being negative, like especially with the studies where they show where they're looking at heart disease and mortality rates and so on of people with high cholesterol. The people only with high calcium actually had increased risk of heart disease. And the issue with this is that, so let's say you're eating high carb, you know, like processed carbs, and you're causing inflammation in your body. Your cholesterol is going to increase, and your cholesterol makes up every single cell in your body, and it's there to heal every single cell in your body. You need cholesterol. It's you are cholesterol. So this is why the study, so, you know, if your inflammation's high, the cholesterol may raise to go and quell that inflammation and heal, you know, your arteries and stuff like that. So you worried about raising your cholesterol, I wouldn't worry about that. If it's raised due to inflammation, then yeah, you stop, you know, giving yourself an inflammatory state. But it's there to do its job to protect you and heal you. The only issue is when your body is so out of whack, like a typical American diet, which is devoid of K2, because we're lacking K2 because our cows don't eat grass anymore, which convert K1 into K2. So we're eating meat with half the K2 content now, which K2 takes the calcium, breaks down the calcium in the blood. So we're eating a diet with tons of calcium, fortified calcium in, you know, in our foods, and lack of K2. So all these people, Americans, you know, they have high calcium in the blood because it can't get out of there. It's stuck in there, and we eat too much. We don't have adequate nutrients with it. So all the people with high cholesterol is just a byproduct. It's there because it's dealing with inflammation and damage in the body. And this is why in the studies, it was only people with high cholesterol and the high calcium with it that actually had heart disease. So don't worry about cholesterol is what I say. Worry about you, like the calcium scored heart test. Yeah, and this is why items like K2 was proven not only just to prevent, but also reverse heart disease, reverse left ventricle hypertrophy. So yeah, it's more of an issue to do with that. The whole blaming cholesterol thing is kind of like an outdated science, just like how we used to blame, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, well, I was gonna say egg, this is the cholesterol scare, so yeah. Hey Tang, what's your thoughts on dark circles under eyes in general, aside from sleep? No Minoxidil, notice that during Rider, tried trolling your comments out there. Yeah, I seen him make a couple comments about that. I'm sorry, not about that, but I seen him make a couple comments. I didn't see what he commented about. Did he make a comment about me having circles under eyes? I'm not sure. Dark circles under the eyes definitely is a multi-factor issue. A very common cause I see with people is they call them allergy shiners and stuff like that. Is somebody having a food intolerance? That is a big thing that I'll see. I have a little bit going on right now, but that's because my sleep has been complete and utter just mess. Like, it's been for a while, and then when I did my first stream back again, I was up to 3 a.m. there. I woke up, barely any sleep, and my sleep's just been going off. So sleep is a big cause of it, and a big cause of it is to sleep. When you sleep, your body's more prone to dehydration and your eyes will sink in. So dehydration, sleep, kind of with that as well. And food allergies are my biggest causes that I find. How did you feel about more plates, more dates, putting you in his top 5 YouTubers? How do I answer that? So, how do I feel about it? Actually, very, very thankful that he did that. That's, I guess, my first response. Him doing that has brought a lot more views to my channels. So, very, very appreciative that he put that. My other thoughts on it, he's been in my group for a couple of years now. He's followed my stuff. I helped him with some micronutrient and stuff issues. And he's helped me personally immensely. I was mentioning this in my other chat, because I've had my YouTube channel for a couple of years, but only had one video up. I just wasn't posting on it and doing at it. And he helped me immensely in the sense, I kept asking him questions like, how do you go about it? What do you do? And just tips like, especially when you're not used to being in front of a camera, it's awkward talking to a camera by yourself and stuff like that. It's like this weird mental mind fuck issue. Like, you're staring at this like electronic like lens thing, and you're just thinking like, I don't know, your mind can't compute. It's like, it's a very difficult thing. And he's helped me immensely with getting into YouTube. I'm trying to think of how to word this. He's helped me immensely with getting into YouTube and doing it. Like, that has been, trying to think of the freaking words to use here. He's helped me in an immense way that, if I didn't talk to him and ask him these things, I probably wouldn't have ever done it. So I owe him a lot just for having me get into it, actually. Like, I owe him immensely for that. And then him giving me a shout out is, that's awesome. I always knew he liked my content. Like, when we would always have conversations, he nonstop always said, your content's great, your content's gold, just get it out there and stuff like that. So, I always knew he appreciated my content highly. So, him mentioning me isn't so much of being like, oh wow, he appreciates my content. It's more of like, wow, like, thank you much for, putting my name out there a little bit. I already was thankful of him liking my content. So that's, my, what'd you say, thoughts, feelings? I forget. But yeah, very appreciative, to say the least. Thanks very much for answering my question, man. Yeah, anytime. That's what I'm here to do. Where are we? Why do you think men take SARMs when they can just take D-ball? So obviously can't answer for everybody, but I can answer for the times I've seen people mention this. From what I see, people take SARMs because they want to either avoid shutdown or avoid the sides of AAs, which I think is completely stupid, both of them. SARMs are shut down. If you go to my YouTube channel or chan.com, you'll see my article on how to prevent shutdown on AAs. It's very simple. Take Clomid on cycle. Check out the article, and it's backed by studies. I posted up the studies, so you can prevent shutdown there. SARMs, a lot of them, you'll notice, Google the sides of them, most people get hair loss off of the DHT derived ones. They get some nasty side effects on it, and they get completely shit gains compared to items like D-ball. I think it's a waste of time. I think they're stupid. I don't like them at all. Might as well use a cycle. If you're going to get less sides, if you're scared of shutdown, take some Clomid and, problem solved. I'm getting a hair transplant this summer. It's an FUE procedure, but I want to lose body fat. Is it safe to diet, or will it delay healing? I would highly suggest you do not diet right before and during and after. So when you put yourself in your diet, you create so many different stress responses and stuff like that. Like, you will drop your metabolism, drop your thyroid hormone. You know, thyroid's very important in hair growth and preventing hair loss. You're going to be eating less calories when your body's trying to heal, spurt new growth. You know, you need your fats, your GLA, your polyunsaturated fatty acids. I would really suggest not doing this, especially if you're going through this procedure. Wait, you know, give it a couple weeks. It's not going to harm you waiting to cut a little bit longer, right? Hello, coach. I'm following your protocol soon. Going to start enclomiphene, random inline lab, a week before my D-ball only cycle. How bad will the lipids be affected combining the two for 6 weeks? Completely individual. You know, if you have a good diet and stuff like that. This side is so freaking individual. I had a very high elite level bodybuilder that most people know, who I was helping. You know, I'm not sure if I'm not going to mention the name just because I'm not sure what info he'd want out there. And his dosage were upwards like 7,000 milligrams of very harsh drugs too. I'm not like, I don't want to mention too much detail, but like Superdrol was like 5 times the normal dose. And every single thing on his blood work, I'm not even joking, every single freaking thing was in perfect range. I'm not even joking, whether it was lipids, cholesterol, kidney function, all the liver aspects, every freaking thing was perfect, and they've never been out of whack as far as he's told me. And yeah, and you know, he'd go on cycles for, you know, like non-stop long periods and stuff like that, and not a single thing was out of whack. Like literally just like, it's so individual. Like it is, this was a real big shocking thing even to me. Like I couldn't, yeah, I still don't even know what to say about that. Yeah, so yeah, individual. I could probably be eating a lot more, but my diet and training is much better. Hold on, let me raise my my computer. Oh my god, let me raise my computer because it's really hard for me to see on a box here. Yeah, hopefully this doesn't actually get in the way of the computer. It's gonna be a little bit shit. Hold on, maybe if I push this forward. What am I doing? Hold on 1 second, guys, sorry. Okay, what am I doing? Is this gonna work? Oh, it's kind of crappy. Do I have anything out? Oh, actually, wait. Okay, hold on. Okay, maybe if I pull this forward so I'm not so close to the camera. Let's hope I don't knock that over. It's getting hot in here now. Let's see if this is better. So I can actually, hold on. Prop that up a little bit, maybe. Okay, let's see if I can read this better. Let me know if you can still hear me good. Okay, I could probably be eating a lot more, but my diet and training is much better. I'm definitely making gains. However, I thought my overall feeling of energy, etc., would be higher. I think you're the testosterone. Yeah, I think you're the testosterone person mentioned about being on TRT. It definitely could be. Remember, you know, it's like building a house. You cannot build a house without bricks and wood. Like, it's not going to spurt out of the ground. You need, you know, material to see even more gains. Better. I'm definitely making gains. I feel energy is dependent on so many things like fatigue and stuff like that. Google TRT and brain fog. Okay. You will see thousands and thousands of people having brain fog, fatigue, and stuff like that from TRT. TRT makes me feel like shit, complete immense shit. It kills my libido. I have immense brain fog. I feel fatigued. I can't eat. And it's because I am very estrogen prone. You know, everybody, besides your estrogen levels, you have your estrogen sensitivity too, right? So I would say, one, maybe check your estrogen level. Even your prolactin levels can cause you fatigue and stuff like that. So most people think, oh, TRT is this magical thing that's going to fix every issue. I'm going to feel great and energy-wise and this, that. It's like, absolutely no. It can make you feel like complete shit. So that's my answer to that. Tian, I know you're against whey protein, so am I. But could I use one temporarily for my bulk and increased caloric intake? Yes and no. So absolutely, yes, you can if you can eat on it. One of the biggest reasons I don't like whey is because even in studies it showed it was proven to decrease every single person's training time. Every single person I've told to get off whey and they gotten off whey, they were able to eat better and better digestion, stuff like that. So if it impairs your digestion, then you're not going to gain anymore. No reason for you to not use something like pea protein. Pea protein was shown in one study that it had even increased better muscle gains in whey. Pea protein, that's what I suggest to all of my guys, and actually speeds up your digestion and appetite due to its amino acid profile, and people eat more. What is your personal anecdotal experience with this? Is fertility a thing for A's users with such tools like HG, SERM, blah, 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 blah? Absolutely not. I've had endless people with failed PCTs. Absolutely. I've never had really somebody with a failed PCT when they did stuff right, such as dietary intervention. So people get stuck up in this thing, especially when they're off cycle. They're get in kind of this depressed state and they barely eat, and they're eating like chicken and rice, and they're having no fats in their diet. Can tell you how many people went through immense PCTs, were not recovering, where I made them actually eat a proper healthy diet and nutrients needed for hormone production, and they shot right up to like 1,000 ng, and like in insane numbers for a natural. So I believe it's extremely unlikely it's people eating like a retarded bodybuilders, chicken and rice crap with very low fat diets. And this is the thing we see in natural. How many naturals do you see on a freaking diet, under eating and eating very low fats, and the naturals have 200 ng testosterone or lower? What foods have K2? A lot of foods have K2, like all your meats and stuff, and eggs and stuff will have it. But the issue, as I was saying, we don't feed our animals their natural diet. Like cows, when they would normally eat grass, they would get K1 and convert K1 in their guts to K2, which we can't do. They have like 7 stomachs, for fermenting their foods. So a lot of foods do, but it's just that we don't have high enough amounts in anymore. You can do stuff like natto, like fermented soybeans, which will have the MK7 form. What are some of your favorite protein sources in diet? I'm assuming you're mentioning for people, not for myself, because I eat very different. My favorite protein sources, regardless of what people are doing, is Pacific whitefish, like hake and stuff like that, due to its very high phosphorus content. In studies where they had people eat the exact same protein, carbs, and fats and calories, the people eating the more phosphorus actually added more muscle growth. It prevented metabolism shutdown. Just like anything, like any nutrients, like you need B1 to utilize your carbohydrates, or else you can deplete your B1, have weight loss instead of actual weight gain. Same thing with protein. Protein needs vitamin A, it needs phosphorus. Phosphorus is a big one. You store more protein, you utilize more protein. So if you're not, people jack up protein to 500 grams, but they're not jacking up their phosphorus with it, that protein, you're utilizing less, and this is proven. So when people focus on just protein, if they focus on not even as much protein-rich foods, but more phosphorus-rich foods for the protein, they'd actually be utilizing their 300 grams versus only utilizing, let's say, 200 grams, versus them jacking up the protein to 500 and only utilizing 300. Then they really needed to up their phosphorus more. I'm stopping doctor prescribed TRT 100 milligrams per week because I don't find it helpful. I'm very estrogen prone. What is a good PCT protocol? Best PCT for that would probably be more testosterone. Joking. Okay. So you're coming out to TRT 100 milligrams. Depends on how aggressive you want to go. Nobody knows how well you're going to respond to what PCT items. The one I like the most is Clomid. It's kind of falling out of favor a little bit, but it's the main one that is proven to like kind of restart your whole system. Like it increases your adrenal hormones too, which get shut down from steroid use. So what was I saying? So Clomid as a staple, and sometimes the only item, but it does have benefit. You adding, let's say, a low dose of something like Novadex, like 10 milligrams throughout, as Clomid as your base. Usually I like to start like 100 milligrams for 3 days, maybe like 50 milligrams 2 weeks, and then the rest of the 4 weeks for 6 weeks total at 25 milligrams Clomid. That is, a moderate approach. And then I like an AI throughout too. Our Minodex is the one I prefer. It will not, Novadex and Clomid is increasing your natural estrogen. It's not lowering it, but it's blocking it from binding at specific tissues like the pituitary. I like an AI with it because it'll help control the increased estrogens, which when you come off, it can shut you back down again, and or just slow your recovery. And and it will help your recovery even more so. Sometimes I've even used AI solo. People didn't want to go with SERMs, which is proven to raise your LH, testosterone, and all that stuff. I've used AI solo. I feel it's much more easier, a little bit longer to recover. What was it saying? And remember, AIs will not crush your estrogen in natural men who are produced, because AIs can't touch the estrogen made in your testicles, right? Intratesticular estrogen. So, yeah, the AIs won't touch it in a natural user. Just a steroid user isn't making estrogen there. That's why AIs kill steroid users' estrogen. In a natural male, you know, they'll use 22 milligrams arimidex in a study, and their estrogen barely changes from a low dose. So yeah, that is my preferred method. And staying on the AI for a little bit longer after you end the PCT. Where are we? Hi, Tanny. Thoughts on biomedical researcher pioneer Dr. Welsh and his decades of studies and trials on micronutrients? What do you think about his longevity TM90 essential nutrients supplements brand? Don't know who that is, but I believe I've heard of the longevity and 90 essential nutrients. I think I know who you're talking about, possibly. I think he's the older fella, gray hair and slick back. I think I know who you're talking about. If so, you know, I've only like briefly seen some stuff on it. I know minerals, I don't like it. I'd rather get all your minerals from food. We do not know the exact balances nutrients have. You know, we can throw things off. I would rather get it through food, the way nature made it. And if you see my multivitamins, stop taking multivitamins. Many of them increase cancer risk. Synthetic vitamins do not behave the same as natural vitamins. I would suggest getting them all through food. You can get them through food, even though farming practices and stuff have lowered the micronutrient content in a lot of food today. You can still get it through food. You can 500 calories. You can get all your nutrients. It doesn't matter. Pick your foods right, and not just that. You're getting a lot more different like phytochemicals and just phytonutrients and stuff like that that have so many other benefits and stuff in your body for health. So if you're having to supplement, you're not eating the proper foods to get what you need. You should not need to supplement. Like, you are doing your body a bigger disservice versus just eating more balanced and properly. I'm well aware you're against multivitamins, that they're expensive, calcium pills, but what about this very rare brand of non-artificial nutrients and minerals? Is it legit healthy as he claims? Okay, so I think you're talking about him. I don't know that product specifically, but most products aren't even natural. Like most products that claim natural whole food sources, they actually just feed vitamins. They'll actually just feed it to yeast. They'll feed yeast synthetic vitamins and call it natural then. So most aren't natural. What's the best protocol for clan for high body fat? 280 pounds. I use like 5 sources, 4 tabs in one liquid, up to 100 mcg, and haven't seen any weight loss. Kind of confused. Usually clan, you'll know it's real by getting a good amount of shakes and stuff like that. I'm not going to suggest you dose. I don't suggest you take any drugs or anything like that. However, on myself, I've used it up to 200 mcg. That is myself. If you know people like myself, I do go up to like 160 and stuff like that. I don't suggest you use any drugs. I don't think you should use it. What's it saying? Up to about 160. It's not a strong drug. It's not strong. It's very mild. It's not strong. What was I gonna say? You know, like you even though you may be doing cardio and eating good and stuff like that already, but like, you know, I've had periods where I was taking it and I wasn't doing anything, and you know, versus a period where I was doing even a little cardio, like 15 minutes. You know, diet the same, and the fat loss is like literally 20 times better doing a little cardio. Again, not saying you're not doing cardio, but it is that week where it, you know, it's 5 minutes of cardio is better than it. I think things post before it's like a 10% equal metabolism increase or something like that, but don't expect miracles out of it. I know you maybe have seen some of your results where it's like a big change and stuff like that, but yeah, you know, it's not crazy. But yeah, 160 myself. Oh, sorry. Never mind. I can speak for myself. The only reason I took SARMs a few years back is because I was a dumbass student, do my research, thought I was the safest option. Obviously, that's not true. Clark, please make a D-ball only cycle video, including beginner cycle dosages, PCT dosages, etc., hair loss in depth. Also, does Clomid cause hair loss while doing PCT? So, on my website, tian.com, actually have this is in the forum section, the pay member section. I do have things where I list like full diet examples and like full cycle examples with dosage, like a beginner, medium, high dose, and low dose of different cycles. And hair safe, I actually have a full article of all the hair safe cycles and dosages, beginner, medium, and so on. Article of that. So I do have that on my site in depth actually, and you know, PCT and stuff like that. So I do have all that on my site, and I do have, I think I went over this in depth with dosages as well on my YouTube channel here under D-ball only, oral only cycle. I think I went all in depth in that. And then on my video on the only hair safe steroids, I also went in depth in there. I'll recap it a bit for you because I recap it a bit in the videos. But you know, if you want to see it all written down, the different examples of it, that is on my site. But you know, obviously I have no problem answering it all here. So what was I saying? So D-ball, I consider a low. I'll first go with dose. I consider 30 milligrams a low dose. I consider 50 milligrams a medium dose, and I consider 75 to 100 milligrams a high dose. For beginner, this is what I say to people. If you're going to, sorry, I don't suggest anybody use steroids. Let's say that first. If you're a beginner, if I'm a beginner, and I'm going to shut myself down, and you know, even though I'm very health focused, I suggest very health preventative measures like K2 and adequate mag and stuff like that to not only prevent but reverse heart disease and so on. But if you're going to shut your body down, why not make it worth it? Why would you run a low dose? That has never made sense to me. If you're going to shut yourself down, get the most you can out of it. Steroids, the side effects are more due to duration than dose. So that's why I like the 6-week cycles as well, since 90% of the gains in strength and size are in the first 6 weeks anyways. So if you're going to shut yourself down, I say do it and get some good effect from it. Myself personally, if I was going to do a beginner dose, I would run between the 50 and 100 milligram dosage. Very individual, depends on how much orals affect your appetite though as well. If you're somebody who gets your appetite killed, a lower dose will be more beneficial because you may get less appetite loss and you'll be able to eat more, because if you're able to eat more, you're going to gain way more than if you ate more and versus somebody who ate less and took 1,000 milligrams D-ball a day, you would gain more and that person would have gained nothing. Take it from experience. I've taken 1,200 milligrams D-ball a day. And I was eating just maintenance calories and I could gain a single bit. So yeah. Travis, what country are you getting? I'm very interested as well. I just got off finished Friday. I don't know, I should like crazy. Oh, Clomid causes hair loss. If you see my hair, the only hair loss safe steroids, I go through Clomid and all those drugs too on my video here. Clomid can. My experience with extreme hair loss sufferers, thousands and thousands of people, is Clomid is very mild and very rarely causes hair loss. It is not a big hair loss scare, and it's more like a diffuse all over that usually comes back. Do not stress about Clomid hair loss is what I tell you. And trust me, from coming from somebody who only suggests 2 steroids from people with hair loss, and I would never take anything that would ever cause me more and or serious hair loss or hair loss period. And Clomid I'm okay with taking. Where am I? High dose Winstrol really dry the joints, and why other DHCs are not known for doing it. Also, maybe this is just a myth or happens only when used as a standalone. Winstrol is a weird one. Winstrol is definitely it's a little bit more different from the other one. Like all steroids have a little bit different effect, right? Where is it going? This like Winstrol is a tricky one, especially like as we know, it'll shut down your progesterone as one of the strongest ones that we know to do it. Absolutely, really just does dry out the joints. This can be multi-factor though too, because as we see, this is more so anecdotal experience as well, because there's not a lot of studies on every single steroids and what they cause in like humans as well. Every single DHC that I have had people tested where, let's say they're on TRT or something like that, and they go and add a specific DHC, it will lower their estrogen and acts as an aromatize. And low dose primo, I've had completely just bottom out people's testosterone. So that is one of the huge issues, and I think a huge issue with Winstrol as well is what was I gonna say? So sorry guys, getting tired, mind going on me. Where was I going? It is possibly I don't even remember what I last said. Issues with Winstrol is a lot of people seem to run it solo when they do. Usually like some beginner newbie cycle or something like that, and they go and they run Winstrol solo, not even with anything else. I forget what I was saying. I was gonna say something about collagen. Because we know enhanced collagen. I don't remember what I was saying. Sorry guys, it's almost 1 a.m. and I'm going brain locked on these. I remember okay. Next one. Coach, what are some micronutrients to take into consideration, either from foods or natural supplements, to minimize insulin resistance in diabetic type 2 patients, or to reverse it if possible? What are some micronutrients to take into consideration? So I've reversed lots of type 2 diabetes. Extremely easy, extremely freaking simple, extremely. Chromium is usually low, magnesium is usually low, potassium is usually low. Usually with magnesium and potassium low alone, because potassium is needed for insulin sensitivity. Same with magnesium. These are actually proven low in most diabetics. There's been multiple studies, and they've repeated it, where they put diabetics on a low, they put type 2 diabetics on, I think, 900 calorie diet, and every single one, 100% of them, reverse the type 2 diabetes fully. Now, you don't have to go that low, but they, went that low because, most doctors not too in there on nutrients. But yeah, though, you don't want to just focus on those nutrients, but those are the main ones. If you put some, go to Chronometer, you go to my site, see my meal examples, whatever. If you follow a diet like the Camel diet, my diet that people talk about, if you follow a diet like that without even going that low in calories, I promise you, you will reverse that type 2 diabetes. And for those who don't know and or think I'm talking out of my ass, if you go to my testimonials on my website, you'll see I fix people with serious health issues that no doctor fixed over like 10 years, 20 years, and so on like that. Like serious health issues that are, labeled that you can't fix. So in studies proven you can reverse every single type 2 diabetes. So it's not just me saying it, it's studies as well. But yeah, you can 100% reverse it, and very quickly too. I'm not joking. If you follow like, my Camel diet, very healthy, nutritious foods based, huge focus on magnesium, potassium. So I'll just give you a random example. I'd eat lots of fish, particularly white fish if possible. I'd eat a lot of seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds, sunflower seeds, and I would eat a lot of vegetables for your potassium rich ones, and variety key, spinach, some kale, some broccoli, and stuff like that. And then a little bit of so not a little bit, you still want to eat, you want to eat your carbs. Carbs are not the issue. Like squash, potato, stuff like that. Just avoid the nutrient void ones, because those will deplete the nutrients, like white rice. For every single gram of carbs, and with protein and so on, you require specific nutrients. When you eat a nutrient void item like white rice that's been processed and kicked out of the nutrients kicked out of it, you will deplete your current nutrients that are needed to make insulin, utilize insulin sensitivity, and all that stuff to utilize your carbs, and you will create actual deficiency, which will worsen it. So basically, no processed foods. Yeah. What's the hardest drug you ever took? I'm not sure if you're talking about steroids or anything like that. I've never touched. Yeah, I've never touched a single drug in my life, including weed. Never, not even once, ever in my entire life. I was just thinking if maybe I took a pill. I've never took an ecstasy or something. The hardest drug I ever took was maybe like freaking a Percocet when I had a tooth issue. But yeah, so hardest drug steroid wise, I guess what you would label a methyltren, probably, I guess. What was I saying? If Clen, DNP, or T3 is not an option, what are some other fat burners you recommend to help facilitate a diet? If Clen, I like Clen and T3. I'm not sure if you're saying I don't recommend, but I do like those items. What is another option other than that? Very individuals. Like I have an article that talks about picking your cycles based off the side you want to avoid. So if you're not a side, you don't have hair loss, you go blast the DHTs and stuff like that. If that's not a issue with you. Strong androgens are amazing for fat loss. T3 kind of are some of my favorite non-side effect, cosmetic side effect items to run. Most other ones I don't really consider that great or good. Which foods are best for gaining as much micronutrients as possible? Well, variety, and variety. So I just wrote on the forums, actually somebody asked something about this, and I just wrote this as well because they're worried about getting their B vitamins. And this is what I said, because they said they were eating lots of chicken and stuff like this. You eat as much chicken as you want, which does have a good bit of nutrients. No matter what, it'll be missing certain ones. And let's say certain ones, mostly meat, are better at filling. But if you're eating just lots of chicken, let's say chicken gives you lots of B2, but it's very poor in B1. Something like pork may give you lots of B1, but very poor B2. Variety is key to a healthy diet. Variety. And even cuts, like your different cuts of meat, like thighs versus breasts and stuff like that. So variety, absolutely. Your veg, I'll try here. I'll try and give you an example. Vary your meat. Pork is very good for a lot of nutrients, better than a lot of other meat. Pork and fish are my two favorite ones for nutrients. Again, vary it. Pork and fish. Then your vegetables, it's kind of all over the place. Most people know the nutrient dense ones, let's say spinach and stuff like that, and broccoli. They all kind of, a little bit different areas. Vary your veggies, spinach, broccoli. Depends on what nutrients you're talking about here, right? Because variety kind of fills a missing gap. And then seeds, chia, hemp and sunflower seeds, you'll see me say that a lot. Those kind of give you little bits and pieces to some calcium and stuff like that, and specific fats. So yeah, those are, and some whole eggs if you can handle it for some other things. But variety is the big key. Most people, they'll overload on certain things that are very nutrient dense, but they're missing a fair few items and they never hit those items, and that's because they're not hitting variety. Whoa, that's a lot of questions. In your opinion, if someone's going to run their first cycle ever, what is the compound you recommend? D-ball or Deca? Depends on the side you're scared of. If you're not scared about hair loss, go ahead, blast the DHTs, and if it hits you. D-ball, Deca. D-ball is great for strength, size, and fat loss. Overall, an amazing compound. There was a reason why every single pro basically ran it, either in the 70s, either solo or as a base with their first cycles. If you're scared of appetite loss and you have a bad appetite as is, need to grow, then Deca. Deca is going to be weaker strength and weaker fat loss, but it's going to give you amazing gains because it won't really hit your appetite. Those are the two items for sure. How do you think Testosterone MENT compares to Deca? It can also be used solo because it converts to estrogen. Doesn't convert to as much estrogen as people think, actually. There's actually a study where men had estrogen deficiency on it compared to testosterone. All the people I think that were getting gyno on it before were simply just using test and they didn't know it, mislabeled product, because MENT is expensive as hell. I get gyno off 100 milligrams testing with many of my followers. MENT, me and my followers never got gyno off it, no matter the dose. I use it for like a little bit, like 100 milligrams a day. I think it went up to for like a week. So here's the issue with MENT and why I don't recommend it anymore. There's actually a study where 75% of people lost their libido on MENT. I've never lost my libido on like anything, and MENT, after I use it, I lost it for like 7 months. No matter what I did, I tried every different little PCT protocol and item, even go back on cycle and different items like that, and MENT killed me for many months. And I have multiple people in my following as well that wanted to trial MENT, and the same thing happened. They lost her sexual function for months. I stay clear of it now. I can't even. Is there a safest steroid Deca test? Depends on what you're talking about. Cosmetic side, overall like that, absolutely Deca. Nobody's really going to see any side effect on it, whether it's the appetite loss, hair loss, gyno, acne, and so on and so on and so on. That's why it was known as that in the 70s, like the least side effect steroid. And any effective way to reduce eye bags, dark circles under eyes. As I already mentioned earlier, the main common causes: sleep, dehydration, and food intolerance. Make sure you're not eating a food elimination diet. Avoid anything that might be causing it. Eggs are a big issue I see in people, and make sure you're hydrated. Your lack of sleep can cause dehydration. That dehydration in you will cause your eyes to sink, and water doesn't hydrate you. You go and drink immense amount of waters if you're not having the electrolytes with it. If you're peeing clear constantly every hour, you're actually dehydrating yourself because you need sodium and glucose to actually uptake the water and use it. So make sure you're actually hydrating properly. I'm going to try and talk fast to catch up on some of these questions. If one was to hypothetically run only T-ball and D-ball, how much? As I just said earlier on my one question, if you're going to shut yourself down, I like to get gains. If you're going to shut yourself down and put your body through that, why not get the most effective gains out of it? Depends on which way you want to go. Sometimes you want to run D-ball as a base, 15 milligrams, and blast your T-ball for a really good hardening, more cutting cycle. Absolutely, go ahead. So D-ball 15 milligrams and T-ball, I would say 50 to upwards 100 milligrams for a heavier cycle. I'm not suggesting you steroids. This is what I would do. And then if I wanted more, more mass effect with it, even though all steroids kind of do the same things, but some are better for strength, and and water weight can also help you. It's very anabolic water weight. 50 milligrams each is also a very great cycle, or 30 milligrams each if you want to go a little bit lighter. But don't use steroids. This is just something I would do. How did you grow such a clean beard, Tian? Is it your godlike genetics or specific protocol? Thanks for answering, you're a legend. I'm very hairy in general. It's not that perfect. I definitely have some thin spots. One of the things I tell people is that when you grow out a little bit longer, I don't do like really close stubble shaving, like a 3-guard, depending on your trim or whatever. And the longer you let it grow, it kind of hides a little bit some thin spots. Because when it's shorter, you actually see some decent gaps actually on me. Now, I've been meaning to microneedle it, so to increase it, to just have like an insane thickness. But you know, it's not really a big issue. What's the biggest difference between Novodex, Clomid, and Ralox? Are they all SERMs? How do they interact with estrogen individually? Kind of big one there. They're all completely different. Ralox, I believe the same as Novodex, was actually shown to blunt cortisol, which I don't like, because when you're on a cycle, you'll shut down your adrenal hormones too. So Clomid is the main one I suggest that must always be used, because you want your adrenals to restart and everything else. So Clomid is the bread and butter. I think always should be used, period. And those other ones can have a little bit extra benefits, like Novo was shown to with Clomid. Just finished a 12-week cycle, 700 tests, 400 Deca, starting cut with 500 tests and 300 mass. Do you think there's benefit running mass from the beginning of the cut? Got up to 16% body fat from the bulk. Test Deca, you're going right into your cut with that 300 mass. We're running mass from the beginning of the cut. So yes, absolutely. The stronger the androgens, the better the fat loss. If you read my cycle article on tian.com, androgen receptor downregulation, short versus long cut cycles, you know that 90% of the strength and the size is the first 6 weeks of your cycle. So you're not going to gain any more muscle continue your cycle. You're just going to see the anti-catabolic effect and a fat loss effect. When people are going past 6 weeks, I like them to continually up the dose every 6 weeks, but you're already on a pretty high dose. You know, I like, even if it's 100 milligrams, that'd be my one suggestion for myself, not you. Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't. The androgens are amazing fat loss drugs. I would run it from the start, but in reality, I wouldn't run it because it's horrible hair loss for myself. So I wouldn't run it, but you know, if I wasn't prone, yeah. Do you ever worry about the long-term impact on your organs and longevity with PED usage? Yes and no. So one, if you're one of those users, which I absolutely hate, that blast and cruise, I would be, absolutely. I think it's stupid. There's no point to cruise. I haven't met a single person really that I couldn't recover, that we're doing things properly. And steroids and studies shown the negative effects are more due to duration rather than dose. And 90% of the strength and size, if you, like I just said, go to my site, read my androgen receptor downregulation article on tian.com. It's under articles. 90% of the strength and size is the first 6 weeks. You know, why are you people staying on and cruising at like 200 milligrams, 500 milligrams? That's not a cruise, that's a cycle. I would absolutely be worried about my health. I think that's stupid. That's why I have my people get in, get out, and why I prefer strong bulks. I like people to put on as much size as possible, get to the goal they need to be, so they're not running these ridiculous cycles, not eating much, not gaining much, and just cycling year after year after year. Look how many people on forums and groups that look the same after like 4 years. They're wasting their time and killing their health. However, running properly, like my health-based approach, we have like heart disease because steroids increase calcium uptake and extracellular calcium increase, which is what causes the LVH and heart disease. You running adequate K2 and adequate Meg in the diet, vitamin E and stuff like that, you can not just prevent but reverse those side effects risk. So for me, myself, the way I would do things, and I have my clients, no, I'm not worried about that. And the drugs that I suggest, no, not worried to me. How is HGG and Nova on PCD for people who are concerned about hair loss? HGG is freaking horrid. It really cranks up your estrogen and prolactin, which prolactin is very bad on hair. And then Nova is a decent hair loss one. I don't like it. I'd rather use Clomid. I will not touch those ones. No, no way in hell. The HCG, you see anybody in my group, they'll say it's way worse than running testosterone for hair loss, like way worse. Is it okay to take NAC on a D-ball plus Deca cycle? And when should you take a liver cycle cleanse after, during, or something? It's not needed. I don't want, you look at the old pros, they ran 7,000 milligrams D-ball a day, some upwards, sorry. hundreds of milligrams for months and years on end. Half my followers run 300 milligrams on end. Yes, it's a bit taxing on the liver, but not to the degree people think like it's going to cause damage. NAC, absolutely, yeah. Topical, NAC, and Oxalates are my favorite items, mainly to keep the appetite up from the colitis effect on the liver. You don't really need liver cleanse. You take those items and you're going to be safe on it, and take it a little bit after if you're worried. Can you supplement phosphorus? Yes, you can, but if you're having to supplement phosphorus, it means you're probably likely missing some other nutrients. And why would you do that when you could eat a food that has phosphorus plus a whole bunch of other ones, and you know, you'd be like, wow, I'm getting all these other nutrients and more growth. So don't just ever focus on one. That's why I hate supplementing one single item. But yes, you can. Monosodium phosphorus is a good form. Gee, Reed, you'll have to decide that for yourself, man. Look at yourself in the mirror. Do you want to get bigger or smaller? How can we detect high estrogen sensitivity in healthy individuals with no imbalance shown on blood tests? So, you know, other issues could be causing this feeling of high estrogen, but as I said, everybody has you know, your receptors, their sensitivity to the hormone. So, and I don't want to blame just estrogen, but you know, if you're having gynosides, for me, estrogen is moods up and down, very sad and depressed, extreme brain fog. My appetite is shit. Estrogen is proven to, you know, affects the liver, cause colitis, lower your calorie intake, appetite shit, and my nipples, and it might not happen to yours, right? It depends on your receptors. My nipples get very puffy, and you know, I start forming gyno. So yeah. I'm 18 years old and have been lifting for about 2 years right now. I'm really struggling how I should eat, whether I should be on a lean bulk or try to cut for the summer. Go to Chan.com. Go to articles, read my articles on food. I have articles like skinny fat and stuff like that, and I point out things like how your food choices matter. If you're gaining fats, you're eating the wrong foods. It's not about calorie intake. This is why we have studies where people overate 900 calories a day in protein and actually lost more fat and gained more muscle than the control group, yet they're eating 900 calories more. So if you're worried about gaining fat, you're eating wrong. Polyunsaturated fatty acid studies where they overate 700 calories of PFAs versus saturated fats. The polyunsaturated fat groups gained almost muscle, and the saturated fat group gained almost entirely fat. If you're worried about gaining fat and or gaining fat, it's your food choices are wrong. Go to Chan.com, read my articles, all my free articles, on articles. Those will answer all your dieting questions, essentially. Which foods are the best for getting as much nitrogen? Oh no, okay. Going backwards. Where are we? What are alternatives to Minoxidil? Posture, peppermint, rosemary, though I don't like it because it causes a shed, but it is, and it proven in a human trial. My favorite is posture, massages, and peppermint oil. Best cutting cycle. As I said on my site, I have an article where it says pick your cycles based off the side effects you want to avoid. I don't know you or anything about you. Me, very prone to hair loss, and same with most of my followers. The only cycles we're using to cut is Deca and D-ball and or Gluten T3. Those are safe, but yeah, so it depends. Are you prone to hair loss? Do you care about hair loss? It depends on the sides you want to avoid highly. I read that the nightshade family, tomatoes, potatoes, is bad for gut as well. Is that only in certain individuals? It's a big, hugely misconstrued that crap going on right now. Certain individuals, absolutely, just like people have the Kila Basa starch bacteria in the gut and stuff like that. If you're normal and healthy, no, don't worry about that. And you recommend exogenous estrogen with Deca, correct? No, absolutely not. People who end up getting low estrogen with Deca are people following a bodybuilder diet of chicken, rice, and broccoli and are not eating enough fat. You need fats for estrogen conversion, you need estrogen production. Yeah, if you have low estrogen on Deca, it's because you're not eating enough fat. And secondly, Deca mostly converts to E1. You also need to go by total estrogens, not just focus on E2. For some reason, E2's got this huge spotlight as the only important estrogen because it's the strongest. Yeah, it's also strongest in a negative way. So yeah, focus on your total. Does oxalate spinach have a negative effect on mineral absorption, like I read when I Google? So this is huge. I kind of misconstrued it. Like all foods kind of have like this weird anti-nutrient effect, but also a positive benefit as well in general. Like people talk about, and you know, nuts and seeds and stuff like that. The funny thing was that in the study, so Yes, it would block absorption, but it would, but they also increased retention. And the added retention benefit actually led people in a higher mineral balance than the blocking absorption effect. So absolutely no. Ideal anavar dosage for men on a calorie deficit. One, I wouldn't run it solo. You want estrogen in there. Estrogen needed for instance sensitivity, proper fat loss, and so on. It sounds like maybe you're doing a oral only cycle. I would run D-ball 50 milligrams as your base. And then, sorry, not you, me, this is what I would do. I'm not saying use steroids. Anavar dosage for men on a calorie deficit. I wouldn't use it all because it's a very poor choice for people losing hair. But if you don't lose hair loss, I myself would run something like 50 milligrams D-ball base and Anavar 50 to 75 milligrams. If you're going to use a cycle, I say myself, I'm going to use a cycle, I want to see actual benefits, not put myself under harm for a few weeks without getting actual proper effects. Do you have a nutrition section on your website that recommends a diet while on PCT? No, I don't have one for the diet on PCT. I wrote a PCT article. I can't remember if I put the diet part in it. So it might not. The PCT part is up. I'm not sure if I added the diet part. I'm actually I'm going to add that to the article. Actually, that would be. I might have. I don't remember. I don't remember. But I will add it in case I didn't actually. Interesting things to answer. Okay, where are we? In a previous video, you mentioned you can make a 500-calorie meal, which would include most of them. Can you tell me what that is, that meal? Well, I already did that a few times and showed. I need to make a whole video dedicated just to that so people can go back and look at. So you can cheat on it and make an unrealistic diet that most people wouldn't eat. Basically, so it depends on what, okay. Basically, 50 grams of protein from salmon, eat that. Eat a couple of tablespoons of something like chia and hemp seeds, and then 2 cups of spinach is going to get you majority of almost all the nutrients. That's just off the top of my head, and I showed up the screen there. Go to chronometer.com, and that's where you can input it and see. That gets you majority of them. I'll try and find the screens where I had like 450 calories and I had like 300% of like all of them. So you absolutely can do that. And that's just pushing it, right? Like if you were to times that meal by 3, you'd have like insane amount. So, when I make 500 calories and like 400% of RDAs of all the nutrients, that's like me like really playing with it in like a way that's like, okay, let me add an insane amount of this food that's very low calorie that you probably wouldn't enjoy eating, but you can still do it. But you absolutely can make a normal amount with just 500 calories, but who eats 500 calories anyways? How long can you do 6 weeks on and 4 weeks off while using Deca only? Also, could you hypothetically run 600 to 900 milligrams Deca indefinitely? You can, because you can absolutely do whatever the hell you want. What I suggest doing, absolutely not. The heart effects are more due to duration than dose. And as I said, you go to my TN.com, you see my receptor upregulation cycle, downregulation, short versus long cycles. You will see, I point out studies, and there's even studies on Deca where 90% of your strength and size gain was the first 6 weeks. So why the hell would you want to do that? You're preventing you seeing great gains again just by staying on. Go to Facebook groups and see all the dudes who run 12, 16-week cycles and they're nonstop blasting and cruising at high doses, and they freaking look the same 4 years later. Like, I freaking make more gains me being off for 2 years and not working out and jump on a 6-week cycle. Like, don't go down that road. Just don't. How long can you do the 6 weeks on, 4 weeks off? As long as you want, that's completely up to you. My suggestion for myself is you do till you get a physique you're kind of happy with, or it's been about half a year or more, and do a proper PCT. I thought Deca was extremely suppressive. Where is it? I thought Deca was extremely suppressive and could only be used if blasting and cruising. Is that absolutely not true? There's actually a study versus testosterone where men had higher sperm and higher LH counts than testosterone on a milligram per milligram basis. Absolute garbage. Is there any point in running more cycles after you reach your genetic limit if you're not interested in cruising? You don't add again. Yeah, absolutely not. You're shutting down dozens and dozens of different hormones. You're putting yourself the duration of running anabolics for, heart disease and stuff like that. Absolutely not. Why the hell would you? And if you're eating properly and working out, you're going to keep those cycle gains. The people who lose their gains after a cycle are using tests where they explode with 20 pounds of water weight, lose half it, and they're not really gaining muscle tissue. Myself and my users, followers, you know, use the Deca cycle, come off 6 months later, not even working out, and you're like, when are my gains going to go away? Because you actually built real muscle. Like me, it took me 6 months to start to lose my muscle from when I got up to 250, and that was 6 months of barely eating, 6 months of no exercise, and then finally after that, me eating 30 grams of protein a day and not working out, then I start to freaking lose size. Yeah, why would you, right? I would suggest once you reach an amazing size and you like it after your short blast cycles, then you run a cycle maybe once, maybe twice a year if you really need it or something like that. I doubt you would, you know. Where are we? Dude, you have so much knowledge. Do you do research almost every day? I'll answer this in another video. So since I was like 16 and I'm 33 now, I've been addicted to stuff like every single aspect of health in just a human body. Whether it is like, you know, oh, what does vitamin B1 do? Oh, it, you know, helps utilize carbon in this fashion. How does it deplete? Oh, vitamin B2 depletes it. Oh, what else? Oh, thyroid hormone sensitivity is increased by polyunsaturated fatty acids, and it's but it's lowered by polyunsaturated fatty acids, but it increases sensitivity. Oh, a thyroid hormone increase your muscle growth or longevity or this or that, and you know, just every single thing to do with not just bodybuilding in general, losing fat, building muscle, but every single aspect of your hair, whether it's your skin, your epidermis is made up of 60% polyunsaturated fatty acids, or omega-6. GLA, as we age, we have an enzyme called the D6D enzyme that decreases as we age. And this is one of our most important items for hair health, hair growth, preventing hair loss and skin health. And it's also decreased by trans fat, it's also decreased by dairy, it's also decreased by wheat. Like every single thing to do with every single food, every single item in a food and nutrient and this and that and this and that. And you know, yeah, since like 16 to 33 now, some days I would wake up and, you know, I'd go on my phone, not even get out of bed, and just freaking read to like 24 hours straight and not even eating at all. It just is an addictive thing to just research about every single area and every single disease and health and this and that. And that's why, like, when you see on my Facebook group or my testimonies, you see I've cured the most insane diseases of people who've had an issue for like 20 years of severe Crohn's wouldn't go away and completely cured in remission, or like the eye issue I brought up a few times, because this was a special issue. The guy went to the doctors and he was like, you're going to lose your vision. Nothing you can do about it. Literally nothing you do. He's just going to lose his vision. And as soon as he told me his issue, I was like, oh, I know this. Like, I just instantly knew, and I put it together on my own. There's no studies on how I cured him. 0 studies on how I cured this person, literally just from my own knowledge and trialing on it, because I knew what the cause was. Cortisol and stress hormones creating the pressure behind the eye. So I increased his magnesium, increased his potassium, bam, his vision fully recovered. He didn't lose his vision, and you know, the doctors would say, okay, you're gonna go blind, nothing you can do. So literally cured somebody from blindness just from my own knowledge. No freaking studies that tell me what to do. A recent guy I had with some heart issues, like 4 times in a month, sometimes a couple times a week, his heart rate would go up to 300 beats per minute, and he kept needing to get his heart restarted. Cardio vision, they said he wasn't going to make it a decade to live. Literally within a week, he's had no cardio visions. His heart rate is down to the lowest it's ever been, and his blood pressure, you know, it's down to the 70s. His heart rate, he hasn't had a cardio vision yet. He's on a couple weeks of it now. Longest time in like 10 years that he hasn't needed to get his heart restarted in a cardio revision. What was I gonna say? Sorry, I read a question and got confused. So yeah, so literally all this stuff that doctors be, oh, you can't be cured, nothing we can do, we don't know what caused it, we don't know how to fix it. All these crazy random health alignments, stuff like that I've literally cured and fixed people with, was from my addictive freaking, what's age 16 to 33? I don't know, 16 years? It's like 16 years of this freaking immense research. I can't tell you how many times I go to the doctors and they're like, you know, if I need something, if I needed them, like I want a prescription or something like that, and they're like, no, there's no such drug as this, I don't know this drug, or this can't be used for this, and I'm like, no, actually here, and you know, like they make them feel like complete idiots because, you know, whatever. But yeah, I don't even remember. Oh yeah, do you research every day? Yeah, basically, and you know, sometimes 24 hours a day and don't even sleep. So yeah, that is my my answer. Thank you so much. I'm new to the channel. No problem at all. This is my first time ever watching you, and I just wanted to say you have a really different way of looking at cycles and health in general. It's really impressive. I'll definitely look more into you. Yeah, go to Facebook and search Tian the Talking Camel. I have a bit more older articles there, and then on tian.com you can see my articles in there too. 100% you should write and market a book, talk about how to live healthy and cure disease. You can make good money from it. It's something I wanted to, different books on different things. I just, man, I hate the tedious work. If you see me type, like, you know how I talk fast now, my brain is like, if you ask me to type something right now, make up any topic about health or anything like that, I will literally write you like 5,000 pages in depth on a topic in like minutes. I'll just like, it'll all come out like instantly. So the issues with books, and I hate going slow with stuff like that, because like, you know, if you see me, right, I have a massive amount of typos, just because like, when I slow down to type properly, grammar and everything in place, like my brain, I stop losing my thought. And, you know, I have this novel I'm about to write, and it's like, oh no, I missed that paragraph, and I missed this thought, I missed this. And it's like, I hate typing slow. So the thought of doing a book, I hate it. And so many times I've had people like redo my articles, like, you know, whether for grammar and typos, so I can just type fast. And they like add in their own shit, or they don't know what I'm saying, and they don't know how to say it, and I feel like when I talk, I give people an easy to digest way of saying it in a very like conversation manner. It's like, look, this does this and this does this, and I don't be like, oh, you're freaking the mitochondria in your cells will be you know, dysregulated because of fucking, I don't know what, you know what I mean? I don't, you know, I've read all that shit, and I've digested it and able to digest it back to you in a way that I can just give you like K2 will reverse heart disease because it breaks down calcium in the arteries. You don't need to know anymore. Like, most people don't need to know anymore. You know what I mean? So every time I try to write a book or do this, I feel it doesn't come across as the same way, and it doesn't catch people's eyes and attention. And I would hate to write a book where somebody reads it and goes like, this is too mumbo jumbo scientific. I don't really care about this shit and stuff like that. So that's why I haven't. But that's why I'm trying to get into YouTube, make more videos, and just cover a wide variety. I keep doing the lives because I'm more comfortable in the lives. When I do like one-on-one and staring at the camera, my mind just goes blank. It's like this weird feeling. It's like I want to talk about health, and it's just like I'm staring at it. It's like eat almonds, and then my mind just goes blank, and it's like I can't freaking focus. So yeah, I should do something about that in that range. Agreed with previous comments above. Your channel is so underrated and full of knowledge and deserves so much recognition in the future. I see with at least 100 times your subscriber count. Well, that's the thing too. If you go to my Facebook, you know, I've had thousands of followers for like 7 years now. But my issue is that if you see on my Facebook, I'd post like once a year, and you see with everybody in the game today, they post daily, 2 times a day, and it's like that was my own fault not posting. You know, my issue, you know, I watch some people talk about motivational stuff like that, like Gary Vee, I'm sure you guys know. And, you know, my issue, you know, I have like a fear, right? And like, you know, oh, who's going to care about this? Who's going to care about that? And I just don't post, you know what I mean? And so I'm still trying to overcome that so I can post more. And what really helps me, obviously, as you guys know, and you know, I'll say it now, like I did at the end of the last video. I haven't been saying this, and you know, I should more. Every time you guys share, obviously, you know, like that helps me out immensely. So every time you guys share my stuff anywhere, you know what I mean, like that helps me out so immensely, like Facebook, Reddit, or you know, just anything. And I appreciate that. Trust me, like every time I notice people share my shit, like if you're in my Facebook group, stuff like that, you know, I always mention those people. It's like, you know, like, I mean, when somebody shares my shit, that, like, you know what I mean, you get me 100 views, 1,000 views, it's like that helps me insanely. So like, you know, you guys are sharing my stuff, I appreciate, like, heartfelt, like that is obviously what's going to get me out there as I'm starting to post more. So I honestly appreciate you guys doing that, and hopefully me giving you this info and help, you know, answering these questions. Like, you know, usually I'm on for a few hours. Hopefully that is really helping you guys out back, and you appreciate that in return. So yeah, I appreciate that. Where are we? Damn, man, you have a lot of knowledge. Can I get access to your information without joining the Facebook group? I'd rather not make a Facebook. So this, you know, I'm giving up myself, you know, here, you know, I'm getting, you know, answering questions, this, that, and I'm going to be making a lot more videos where you can just read it. And there's a Facebook group too. I do have my forums. My forums is paid. That's kind of like, you know, my way of supporting me, I guess, and stuff like that. Tian.com, my forums, and I have articles on there, and I go a little more in depth in there. And the reason I made the forums is like, because, you know, even on Facebook, information gets lost, you know, you can't search for it and crap like that. So I made the forums where I can have my training section, this is the best training, and I have my diet section, this is how you make a, you know, I did my complete like health diet, where also bodybuilding, and like, you know, eat this range of protein, eat these foods, eat 3 phosphorus fish a day, here are the fish and stuff like that. So I go a lot more in detail and depth, and it's more organized, so you can see, here's my diet articles, here's my training articles, here's this, and you can, you know, ask me all the questions there. So my forum is my main place where I'm doing that, where, you know, people, where they can support me as well, right? You know, you have monthly or yearly membership or stuff like that. So think of making like a lifetime membership. Obviously the yearly is cheaper, but that is my main support way. Yeah, I appreciate the following and stuff like that. You come across genuine and very personal. Keep doing it. Awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah, you know, that's the thing with me getting into too. You know, I have a fear of doing this, and I have a fear of, you know, just being like, you know what I mean, talking to whether it's myself on camera, stuff like that. But I feel like I feel like I'm genuine too. You know, like if you see my forum posts from, you know, long ago and stuff like that, like it just, you know, I enjoy this. Like I'm obsessed with it. I enjoy it, and I enjoy, you know, helping people. Like the guy whose heart I just saved, basically, who said, you know, you won't live past a decade. Like, you know, that was all for free. Like I didn't charge, you know, I didn't charge a cent. Obviously, I do coaching. That's where like, oh, write me a specific diet plan and stuff like that. And you know what I mean? Where people just, you know, you need your hand held to a diet or something stupid like that, right? But, you know, somebody has a health issue, and like you see me on here, I'm like, yeah, like, you know, fucking do this, do that. Yeah, I appreciate it. Definitely, trust me, I appreciate it, because, you know, like I said, you know, there's like a fear of doing this and just like getting myself out there constantly. So, you know, I appreciate the respect and, you know, stuff like that. Absolutely. Where am I? What is a good Deca dose for the first time user? As I repeated this like 100 times, I'm sorry some of you have to go through it and hear the same boring answer. What is it saying? If you're going to shut yourself down, I believe you should shut yourself down and actually get a good benefit out of it. And so I like higher doses. Deca 400 to 600 is low to medium, and then like 700 to 900 more medium, and then 900 to 1200 milligrams a week is a high end range. If I was going to, 90% of your strength and size on tan.com, you'll see my article on receptor downregulation. Yeah, so if you're going off for that short duration, you're going to experience less size overall, even internally. As studies prove, it's more due to duration than dose. I would say I would run a cycle where I'm going to get the best bang for buck. And for me personally, if I was doing my first cycle or whatever again, and I was going to choose Deca, I'd probably do like 900 milligrams myself. That's me. But, you know, you choose what you're comfortable with, or don't do steroids at all. I'm not suggesting it. Whew. Where am I going? What do you think is a good over-the-counter sleep aid? I don't want to use melatonin. I use glycine and kava before bed. I answered this a few times yesterday. 99 times out of 100, this is the freaking issue, especially with people eating like bodybuilders. Eating too late. This is proven. When you eat, you increase your digestive hormones and stuff like cortisol, which is needed for utilization of protein, carbs, and fats, and you completely throw off your circadian rhythm. Eat most of your calories earliest in the day, and then slowly decrease them as you go up. And like even like your dinner should be very low calories, a couple hundred calories. 99 times out of 100, whether it's blocking blue light or doing this or that, 99 times out of 100, this one simple thing, which is proven, people go from the worst sleep ever to sleeping like a log all throughout the night in the best sleep ever. It might not be your issue, but start there. That is usually what it is. What does insulin help with? Is it just to speed up the growth process? Yes and no. If you're using growth hormone and stuff like that may be causing nerve damage and stuff like that, which can cause permanent atrophy of your muscles. The main thing we're using insulin for is, yes, growing. Don't use it for cutting and stuff like a lot of people do. People think it's good for cutting, but they're actually having muscle loss too. It's not anti-catabolic. It's anti-catabolic when you're eating high amounts of food. It's actually catabolic when you don't eat enough food, because it causes amino acid dumping, you know, actually cause a catabolic effect. So yeah, growing. Whew. Agreed with previous comments. I don't know if I read this. Your channel is underrated. I think I did read that one. Oh yeah, because at least 100 times your subscriber. Wait, yeah. In the future, I see you with at least 100 times your subscriber count. I have what, almost 3K now. Hopefully it goes times 1,000. I don't know. Wow, K2 helps reduce black build. I think you meant plaque. I think, unless you're making a joke, I'm not really sure. Yeah, it actually breaks down the calcium that's hardened in your arteries. Like it's just for this because it prevents and reverses heart disease. But you want to take K2, magnesium, and adequate vitamin A, but through the diet. Don't supplement it. This is what keeps the calcium soluble. It helps break it down. It helps get it out of the blood and into your bones. It will reverse also LVH. So yeah. 900 milligrams Deca was my first cycle. Somebody else said. What are your favorite nutrient dense foods? Just answer. Okay, let me. So okay, I already answered. I kind of try and go in depth again. As I said, what was I saying? Variety. I'm gonna kind of shortchange this one because I already answered it. Let's say you're eating a lot of chicken, it's high in B1 versus pork tenderloin is high in B2, but it's low in B1. You are going to almost never get a good micronutrient variety and density when you're eating same foods like broccoli, chicken, rice 3 times a day. You're never going to hit your goals adequately and properly. Variety. One meat may be high in B1, might be high in B2, and so on for all your nutrients. Meats, variety your meats. My favorite meats are fish and pork. They usually have the most nutrient density for the good portion of the vitamins and minerals we need. Then broccoli, spinach, kale, variety, but those are some of my top 3. And then your fruits, again, variety, depends on what the user use. Like pineapple has like good manganese. I like honeydew melon. Variety, that's the best way to answer. Don't waste your time on processed foods like white rice, you know, where they take out the hull, the brown portion of brown rice. Variety and 0 processed foods. You know, you're having some brown rice this meal, some potato this meal, some pork this meal, some salmon this meal. That is what will get you easily all the nutrients you need. What other benefits Humalog have on bulking cycle other than getting nutrients into the muscle? So I'm not sure exactly which portion of the question you're asking. So as I was saying, if you're eating a lot and you can't handle those foods and you're getting high blood sugar, you will have delayed gastric emptying, so it'll help speed up your digestion. It'll help prevent nerve damage, which is called atrophy of the muscles, permanent nerve damage. Like the main benefits for using it for bodybuilding though is preventing those sides, and then also muscle growth. Sorry, I need to go get a drink. Actually, I'm talking so much in my mouth, and I need to go to the washroom. So give me like 2 minutes. Hold on one second. let's see what I missed. Where are we? 10. In my opinion, a great video for increasing your sub size would be short editing all your YouTube Q&A live streams where you reply to people's questions but make many individual short videos. I thought well, that was one of my plans to do too, because right, that could be a whole bunch of mini videos like 10 what's the best micronutrient dense meal. I freaking hate editing. Like, I'm doing this all on my own, obviously. Freaking hate editing. It's something I definitely should do. I like the lives because it's very much less work for me, especially when I do a separate video and having to do other shit. So I like the lives. That is something that I definitely should do and should get on. I definitely should do that because it'd be a lot of videos. Sorry. Hey, instead of typing your thoughts, maybe you could record yourself talking about a subject so you could type it out later in regards to you writing a book. There might be something that I could try to get done there. Sorry, in that way. Sadly, most people interested in overall nutrition and endocrine are lazy and very impatient. Love to have their questions answered quickly and shortly. And will bother to watch 30-60 minutes. Yeah, definitely. Even me, I don't want to watch something. I don't like to watch things anyways. I'd rather read because it can just. I'm sure you, like, you guys probably don't go. Well, maybe you do some of my videos, but going through a 60-minute video, it's like, come on, I want to see it. So I definitely should break that. Well, my plan was to do like basically all my top, kind of redo them anyways, a lot of them, and get them out as short videos, and or edit. I definitely need to do that. The lives, it's easier for me to like I'm talking to somebody. It's definitely much more easier to me. So I feel like this way is also kind of practice getting my my ability to talk to the camera up a little bit better to also do the videos. But definitely editing them into short clips will probably, definitely. I feel like when I answer your questions, I should maybe answer them in a way so people, it's like I'm talking to the user. Even though I am talking to you, maybe put it in a little bit more way, just explaining a little bit more differently as well, maybe when I start doing this. How can we get in touch with your personal coaching on some stuff? So tine.com is my website, first name tine.com. Go there, and then under, I think, coaching, coaching or contact is on the far right side, and you can send an email about coaching, and then I have my forums, or you want to read more articles, more in depth on, like, some training and health and stuff like that, and you can post and ask questions there as well. But yeah, one-on-one coaching, coaching, go to coaching there. When you recommend people D-ball oral only cycles, aren't you worried about the damage on their organs, specifically liver? Let me answer this one again. D-ball has been studied at 100 milligrams a day for 6 weeks with no liver damage. That's completely overblown, completely false. People, I've always seen that when I was reading stuff too long ago, when I was getting into it. Run D-ball more for 4 to 6 weeks and you're gonna have liver failure. The one thing I hate about this question too is people say D-ball only cycles, aren't I worried about the liver? Why would I be more worried about D-ball only cycle for 6 weeks or whatever versus somebody running tests with it? That would be more, because androgens themselves and estrogen also affect the liver. So why would D-ball only be worse on your liver? It'd actually be easier on your liver. Secondly, as I say in my videos many times, I don't suggest anybody run a cycle. I just say if I would do it. Thirdly, if the old pros, this is doctors, in my D-ball only oral video, I show snippets from a doctor's book who treated a lot of powerlifters and bodybuilders in the 70s. Some guys ran up towards 7,000 milligrams of D-ball a day. There is endless old pros on records who talk about took D-ball by the bottle, guys taking D-ball for 27 years straight. I myself and many people I've known, and endless of my followers, have taken 200 to 300 milligrams D-ball for years straight. I've even taken it up to 1,200 milligrams. So am I worried about something that's never really been proven and maybe been seen in one rare case study? The same as testosterone at TRT doses has been shown to cause liver damage in a random rare case study. So am I worried about a random rare case study that drugs that everybody says is safe, like testosterone, to cause effect? No, especially at drugs that have been taken by 7 bottles by the day for years on end and under doctor supervision. I'm not worried about it at all. And then again, just to clarify, I don't suggest anybody do something. As I say, if I was going to do it, that's how I would do it. I'm sure your YouTube will get bigger just by more place, more days mentioning you as well. It definitely has. That's been very awesome that it's grown. Because I think it's only at 1,200 subs, and you know, that's all my fault because I barely been posting. Completely my fault. So that is definitely spot up as well. What do you think about saturated fat effects on health? I don't generally like to shun any single food, except dairy a little bit, just because, you know, there's no, and maybe that's due to us, you know, are genetically modifying the cows, the breeds, and having different protein types in it, and, you know, like prostate cancer infections, stuff like that. Saturated fat isn't bad, and it is bad in the right context, the same as way any food is bad in the right context. Like, you can overdose on carrots and get vitamin A toxicity, specifically beta-carotene. Does that mean carrots are bad? Absolutely no. Saturated fats can be bad in the right context of stripped of their nutrients, overdone in process, you know, all things like that. And that's what we see in the typical American diet, is saturated fats having negative effects, and or having it with other poor foods like high fructose corn syrup. Because a lot of people don't know this, there's a lot of different processed foods or like sweeteners and stuff like that, where they're showing that, you know, let's say you normally eat sugar and your gut bacteria wasn't disrupted by it, but when they added it as a sweetener, and then when somebody did eat sugar, even if it was from fruit, it really disrupted their gut bacteria, like increased the bad bacteria and so on. So saturated fats, just like any other food, is bad under the right context of the way our lifestyles today. So yeah, every food is bad under the right context. Saturated fat is not bad when you're eating a normal healthy diet, just like any of the other fats. Just like polyunsaturated fats will deplete vitamin E, but if you're eating it in as whole food, it won't deplete vitamin. It doesn't deplete vitamin E because the whole food is coming with vitamin E, like nuts and seeds. And then people, I don't like when people, I do too, but when you group saturated fats as saturated fats, because a fat is made of many different fatty acids, and saturated fat from something like palm oil is completely different from something like meat. So that's another thing, you know, we need to consider with that. And for saturated fats, eat it. You need saturated fats. You need all the fats. Yeah. How important do you think sleeping on your back is for optimal airway expansion throughout one's life with correct oral posture in order to prevent sleep apnea? Sleep apnea can actually be multifold. It can also be induced by diet. Polyunsaturated fats actually had an effect on sleep apnea as well. One of the biggest things, this is brought up recently in my group, and I did a little mini topic on it, is sleeping with elevation slightly at your head is also very less constricting on your airways, is another way that is prevent. Hold on guys, 1 second, sorry. Sorry guys, 1 more second. What was I saying? Hey man, I thought maybe you could comment on your hair loss protocol, specifically regarding the topical estrogen. Replace more dates, maybe video saying it doesn't work, but your protocol suggests otherwise. So one, in studies, topical estrogen was proven to work. Yes, exactly. Nobody talks about elevated body posture. So it is proven to work. I'm not sure. Maybe at here's the thing with you know, obviously you can find one study showing something, one thing, another study showing another. It is proven to work in a plethora of studies. One of the main reasons it works is when balding men have hypoxia, lack of oxygen circulating in the scalp, right? And when we have hypoxia, it actually decreases aromatase enzyme, and it increases 5-AR. Estrogen will work multifold. It'll work by helping increasing fat storage. As we know, balding men have half the scalp fat, so the tension is greater on the scalp. Sorry guys, I'm getting tired. What am I saying? Scalp fat, lack of I'm losing here. It'll help increase fat. It helps change the specific prostaglandins, which are needed to prevent hair loss and increase hair growth. So it is proven to work. There is multiple studies on it. There's multiple studies on it proven to work. It works via multiple different pathways in the scalp. I never seen his video on it, so I'm not sure what he says, but it is proven to work. Just give a Google search on NCBI, topical estrogen and hair loss. But I'm not sure exactly what he said to refute it. Sorry guys. What are your best supplements for cardiovascular health? Do you advocate the use of omega-3 fish oil or krill or gelatin capsules? No omega-3 or oils. So okay, where am I going with this? Sorry, I'm getting tired. When I get tired, I start getting real crappy at answering. So as I was explaining a few times earlier, every single food is bad when it's like processed and on its own. When we have oils, we are stripping it of so many of its nutrients, because that oil we would be getting when we're eating the whole fish. Polyunsaturated fats work just like any food out there. Polyunsaturated fat, it adds for every gram you eat, you require a specific milligram amount of vitamin E to utilize it. And if you don't eat it with it, it'll actually steal vitamin E from your body stores and it'll deplete it. So we're eating a polyunsaturated fatty acid that lost its vitamin E because you're not eating the whole fish. You're actually depleting your vitamin E, which is actually to be more worse for your heart and other areas and a whole bunch of other side effects on you. What was I saying? So yeah, I do not eat fish. This is my summary there. Eat the fish so you get your fish oils, which yes have many benefits, but it also has a vitamin E, which is going to help you, which is needed for help decrease AFib and clotting factors and stuff like that. So you don't have a stroke. So eat whole fish. I don't like those supplements. You're creating other issues while trying to help one issue. And the best supplements for cardiovascular health, as I said a few times, vitamin K2 as a supplement, and then increase magnesium and an adequate amount of vitamin A, which you'll get via fish. Because I'll try and explain this quickly. Our cows, as an example, which I went over 100 times, don't eat grass anymore, so they don't get K1 to convert into K2, which your meat would be a lot higher in K2. K2 breaks down calcium in the arteries while helping creating bone building factors, taking it out of the blood. Magnesium does the same thing, helps keep it soluble, and same with vitamin A. And our foods are fortified with calcium. So our main issue with heart disease is a lack of those nutrients, specifically K2. And steroids increasing calcium uptake and extracellular calcium. So that is the big reason, and those are the main subs that are going to have the most benefit for you on your heart health and in cardiovascular health. Yeah, those are the top ones that you need that are not proven just to prevent, but also reverse heart disease and LVH. I guess you could use pork fat as cooking. Majority of the times you see me when I'll suggest diets and stuff like that, depending on the situation, stuff like that, I suggest the fattier meats anyway, so you don't necessarily need those things. Like chicken thighs and drumsticks and stuff like that. Like chicken thighs aren't, both of them is not insanely higher than chicken breast in the fat content. And and especially for people, let's say bulking stuff, even cutting my diets are a bit more higher in fat. You need fats for function and just adequate health. I don't like the fat of insanely low fat today, and I'm an advocate of low carb in case anybody is thinking that. I'm getting off. So some safe fat, and the most healthy way of cooking is steaming. Most people don't want to go to that, obviously. So if you are going to use fats for cooking, absolutely the higher saturated fats are better, like animal fats, like duck fat and stuff like that. Pork fat, some people may have an issue with histamine intolerance. If they have racing mind and sleep issues, pork and fish are a huge no-go. It can also increase anxiety, so something to be wary of if that's you. I'm getting off finasteride after 3.5 years, and I'm worried about losing all my hair now. Any suggestions for any suggestions? Hair transplant? Laugh out loud. Go to my website, tan.com. under articles, this is in the free section, go down to my hair loss protocol, and I would suggest doing that. Don't have to do all of it, but summarizing it: eat pumpkin seeds and eat hemp seeds for GLA and a little bit of anti-DHT effects. And because you need fats. You need fats. You need to replenish the fats in your scalp. You need fats for your prostalagins and your estrogen production. All this will help, and it'll help control DHT. Fats in your diet. And then do my topical approach. Do microneedling, apply emu oil, which will help with inflammation, skin and hair DNA synthesis, and some peppermint oil for circulation. Do this. Go to my website. You'll see I only have a couple pictures up of people whose hair loss I completely reversed fully. So yeah, do that, and you're not going to lose your hair. What's your view on gluten? I know they aren't complete protein, but is it good to take them? Should I avoid it? Gluten and dairy are the two food sources that I tell everybody to avoid. There's actually a good study where they showed that regardless if people had celiac disease, no matter what, gluten still cause gut damage in every single person's gut. So something like dairy and gluten is one of the two foods in almost every single food that causes, not causes, but will keep somebody from going into remission on autoimmune diseases. And when I cut these foods, they will go into remission. So I just, they don't, specifically the protein portions of these foods, yeah, I don't suggest to anyone. So do you think people should avoid using cooking oils like olive oil, canola oil, avocado oil, etc.? Yes and no. So the most healthiest diet for overall health is something where we don't overcook our foods. I had an article about, did I release it? I don't remember if I released an article about vegan diets. And one of the main reasons why vegan diets are healthier in some areas, but not all, is because they're not overcooking their food. Take a vegan diet, cook it at 400 degrees in the oven, and it's going to be unhealthy. So yeah, one of the main reasons meat has a lot of its deleterious effects is because of our cooking methods. If you're needing oil to cook your foods, you're likely not using a healthy cooking method. Does that mean you're going to live your life not using high temperatures? Probably not. So when you do that, I like a safer oil. Stuff like rice bran and stuff like that can be okay. The monosaturated fatty acids are much better than the polyunsaturated fatty acids, but the saturated fatty acid cooking fats are the best, like, animal fats usually. Have you ever used RU for hair loss? What's your thoughts on it? I answered this in another video already. What did I say? Sorry guys, getting real tired. It works. Just like all the anti-androgen hair loss like items. It works, but it's not as powerful as people make it out to seem. It goes in cycles in the hair loss community. Spironolactone comes out, RE comes out, and then whatever other anti-androgens people were using before that. Anilidin comes out, everybody jumps in it. One or two people see good results from it. Nobody else really sees good results from it, and then it just kind of dies out. But everybody's suggesting it and using it like they were spironolactone, S5 cream, and then that phased out. Now it's this, and then it'll be another one, and it just goes in circles and fades out. It works, but for most people, it will not do much for them. You need to do everything else. Go to tn.com, under articles, go to my hair loss article. You need to fix the root cause, and then it will do a good benefit, an amazing benefit. I'm probably going to end the stream in a minute here, guys. I am definitely getting tired. Just a heads up. Just checking some messages. Okay. 30 watchers still watching. I don't know what I'm saying. Brain's getting fried now. Almost 2 a.m. 103 minute streaming, though, not good. Hopefully I'll have my new camera tomorrow, guys. I'm really excited about that. Really excited about it. Because I'm using my phone right now. I think it's good quality on my phone, but it definitely, I'm excited for the camera. Really excited. In general, is coconut oil good to consume? Yes. Yes. So yeah, no, I was gonna say yes and no. Has lots of benefits. So there's a good study on this where they compared it to different fats, where they showed this one fat is different from the other saturated fats. Because in the study where they compared to olive oil and I think soybean oil, so guys, my brain, I'm losing my memory because I'm tired. well, they had all the calories the same, but they added different amounts of these, sorry, not different amounts, the same amounts of these fats or same calories. The coconut oil actually showed a reduction in body fat loss from the weight loss, where the other groups actually showed, I think the soybean group showed a loss of muscle mass, what they seen, and a little bit of body fat gain. Meanwhile, you know, they lost weight, but they were mostly losing muscle, the soybean group. So it is a really great item for fat loss. It has a fair few different health benefits. See, coconut oil is a good oil, and no real, it's a weird one because coconuts, you know, unlike meat and some other type of oils where we strip it and make it like a processed food, the coconut oil is kind of like, how do I say this? It's kind of like the whole food as it is. You know, we're not just taking out the oil. You know, even though it's kind of like it's the whole food, we're not really losing the nutrients with it in comparison to other foods. Because my brain is going, I'm getting to that where I'm wearing out. So yeah, I should probably end it. What am I gonna say? Thanks again for watching, guys. I'm gonna try and stream daily. Yeah, literally my brain is gone. 2 a.m. Okay, guys. Remember, if you want, it helps me out a lot when you guys share my stuff. You know, it gets me more viewers, gets me subs to get out there, improve my channel. What am I saying? Yeah, so we appreciate it. We share it to Facebook groups or Reddit, and remember to subscribe if you haven't. I'm sure most of you probably are, 30 of you. You share, it helps me out so much, guys. I really appreciate it, especially when you do. One more question: running D-ball only cycle, will that interfere with libido? 9 times out of 10, no, but it's one of the few ones that I do notice some people will sometimes get a little bit of a libido effect. Also, sometimes some people get a little bit of what am I saying? Sleep effect. My brain is gone, guys. It's gone. You see me earlier. I'm talking, answering stuff straight out in the novel, and I'm done. How do you cook your eggs if you don't use them? I don't eat eggs. I have an intolerance to eggs. Again, you can use oils if you do need oils, but use a safer oils like animal fats and stuff like that if you can, or high saturated fats, oils like coconut oil and stuff like that. Guys, yeah, again, yeah, I appreciate you so you share your stuff. Awesome, appreciate, yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna try and do it daily, and yeah, no problem. Somebody said thanks for answering. All right, guys, I'm gonna get off because I keep mumbling and I keep, I don't know, going brain dead. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Remember to sub and share and all that stuff. Yeah, all right, guys, thanks again.